Did we talk about Jalen Carter's contract?
You know what? Did we?
Because that is very freaking team friendly,
Yeah, well,
man.
I mean, you said when it happened it will be, but I don't think
Yeah.
we've gotten into the numbers. Go ahead, J Mac.
Well, the cap numbers are extremely small for the next 3 years. Um, as I predicted, they rolled in the the remaining 2 years of Jalen Carter's contract in with the extension. So the extension that makes him the highest paid defensive tackle of all time doesn't kick into 2028 when he won't be the highest paid defensive tackle of all time. So you're talking 6 years, in practicality 4 years, which in those 4 years the cap numbers are 9.2 million, 9.1 million in 2027, 15.6 million in 2028, and 22.3 in 2029. And that's when you'd have to work out a rework deal anyway, moving forward.
Which by that point they would
Yeah.
naturally, most likely.
So when you fold in the 2 years, he got 6 years at 31 million per year. I mean, this thing is extremely team friendly. So again, kudos to Howie Roseman and company. I've always said they do not sign bad contracts. Ever since, really, you can go back to Joe Banner. It started with Joe Banner, Jake Rosenberg, who I talk about all the time. They do not sign bad contracts. And people always say, "What about Bryce Huff?" The contract wasn't bad. They misevaluated. They misevaluate. But the contract
Clearly wasn't that bad. They were able to move on from it in a year. Yeah, maybe they took some dead money on it, but still.
Yeah. They don't sign bad contracts, and that's certainly held true with Jalen Carter. And the beauty is, and Andrew Brandt taught me this. He used to run the Packers business side, and he would tell stories, and he's told stories on this show where, and I remember one where, he was talking about the agent asking him, can we put this number out there? And he's like, yeah, I don't give a shit as long as I get the guy for this number. That's what agents do. They put out those wonky numbers, and people buy them, and then you see the real numbers and you go, oh, this is pretty good. But I always define it. So when Jake was here, and now it's they lost Bryce Johnston to Atlanta, and now it's Grant Ryder, who do the nuts and bolts of the contract. So I would say, so now it's Grant. He did his job. Now, that's not to say Jalen Carter can't fail if they misevaluate and he goes in a negative direction. That's football. That's a football decision. But they said, we want this guy, get it done.
Exactly.
They signed a
this
good
is
contract.
The market rate for him. This is how they get exactly. Well, John, they do that well, man. They do that consistently well. It's pretty impressive. But now it's on the player, right? I mean, now the player's got to play.
Yeah. But very team friendly. More team friendly than I thought it was going to be. And you can say, and Drew can still go out there and say, largest paid.
But they do in a very real way take care of the player still, right?
Oh yeah, it's still, you're talking 106 million of guarantees.
Yeah, right. So they do still take care of the player. They make it so it's team friendly. Everybody walks away happy. John, do you think the NFL at the next owners meeting or one of these upcoming owners meetings is going to try and nip this in the bud the way?
Well, they have already brought it up. They brought it up. I'm surprised. I'm surprised they haven't. There's 5 void years on this thing, by the way. Jalen Carter. So 2032, which is a dummy year, it's not even a real year, his cap number would be $68.2 million. Ultimately, ultimately, I do think they are going to tighten up the salary cap rules. And I think the Eagles are one of the main culprits. And when it happens, it'll impact them, but they tend to look, everybody can do the same thing they're doing.
They don't want to pay the money. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Lurie has, is willing to shell out the cash, and they can get the reward from it. But I got a feeling most of the owners going to stand up and say, "Hey, Jeffrey, we all got the money, but you're no more of this. You can't do this anymore because it's bad for us as owners."
Yeah, and by the way, when I say 106 million of guarantees, the only guarantee at signing was 40.85 million. Only. I say that only. That's a lot of money.
So is that the signing bonus, meaning that's what he got when he signed the deal?
When he signed the contract. And there are roster bonuses, and that's how they struggle. They keep the cap number down by turning everything in the roster or option bonuses. And they pay out the big up to your point about Jeffrey Lurie willing to spend the money up front, and they can manipulate the cap that way. And some teams copy, Cleveland's one that copies, but they haven't done it as successfully. Obviously, Andrew Berry was here. There's some others, but they do it. They do it. As long as you have an owner willing to foot that bill, man, that's the luxury of having a great owner too.
No doubt. Good stuff from Jeffrey Lurie. All right, here we go. A couple super chats, and then everybody. I have to run a little early today. I have an appointment coming up this morning. That's pretty important, so I have to run. Don't blame J-Mac. Blame me. Here's Matthew Mazzoni, 1,000 Joules GOAT trophy. I really got to dive into what the fuck these things are. John, you know what I've learned, which has pissed me off even more?
What's that?
Not only are the joules like a couple cents, but apparently YouTube, when they started this thing, they gave everybody 1,000 joules for free. So all the joules we're getting, we're not even getting anything out of them. I'm just reading these stupid things, and they're not even worth a damn for us.
1,000 joules.
It's a crap.
Thanks, YouTube. Thanks. Now I got to rip YouTube and StreamYard in the same show.
Here's Pumper, $5. Pump, thank you, brother. That's a real $5. He says this. Should have signed that freakazoid Stephon Diggs. Lemon might actually be a lemon. And don't sell B Pumper the Darius Cooper hoops. That's a load of malarkey.
Freakazoid Steph Diggs. I don't. After going, they don't want to.